Good morning and welcome to this edition of San Diego People. I'm Lauren Finney. Every day we're surrounded by heroes, and most of the time we don't even know it. Last week, the American Red Cross honored several unsung local heroes at the 17th annual Real Heroes Breakfast aboard the USS Midway Museum. Joining us this morning to tell us more about the Real Heroes Awards is Red Cross Board Chair Steve Stuckey and SDGE Vice President of Electric Operations and Red Cross Board Member Dave Geyer. Good morning to the both of you. Steve, the Red Cross likes to say ordinary people with extraordinary courage, but that certainly does not make them ordinary. So this has been going on for 17 years. Tell us why this was important to the Red Cross to start doing.
Sure. So, you know, the Real Heroes Breakfast is just a way to honor people that have really demonstrated courage under some very amazing circumstances. The stories that we hear are every year very, very amazing. Just the things that people do under pressure. The breakfast itself is a way for us to honor people, individuals and organizations in the local community that have done amazing things and really recognize their efforts.
And it's a breakfast early in the morning, and I love the idea because it's such a great way to kick off your day with some inspiration and just some positivity in the morning. But the Red Cross is there when people are usually experiencing the lowest, most horrific event in their life, and the Red Cross is there at that moment to lift you up. And I would imagine that you do hear the most miraculous stories, and so this seems like a natural evolution to kind of pay homage to those people.
Yeah, so much, the Red Cross is really a volunteer-driven organization, and so much of the volunteers' passion, selflessness, service to community is embodied in the award winners here, where folks had just been put into a tremendously stressful, a dangerous situation, and have just stepped up and showed great courage to serve others in a very selfless way.
And a lot of that takes partnership, and I know SDGE as a company is big on those community partnerships and collaboration. And Dave, talk about the connection for you personally with the Red Cross, but also for SDGE.
Yeah, I've been on the Red Cross board for like 7 years, and it's just amazing how the Red Cross and SDGE have very similar goals. Our missions are the same, and people think about the Red Cross on the big disasters, but literally the Red Cross is out in our community every night. Every home fire we respond to, just like SDG&E. So a lot of times our guys are out, our linemen, our other people in the field are working side by side with the Red Cross. And for me personally, it's been a great merger of two organizations that work together in partnership.
And so not only did SDGE sponsor the Youth Good Samaritan Award, but you were also honored with the Community Award as well, which is great. Why was SDGE chosen for that, Steve?
It's something that many people are not aware of, the tremendous effort and resources that SDGE devotes to making sure that San Diego is prepared for wildfires, which is the biggest issue, of course, that hits this community. And the amount of work that the SDGE team puts together, works hand in glove with first responders here to identify hotspots, danger zones, identify that first curl of smoke that shows a wildfire has started, and to get the first responders out to that location immediately. We just really wanted to recognize all of that, as well as their support for the Red Cross over many years.
Yeah, it takes a lot of teamwork, I would imagine, a lot of team members.
It does, and I think that we in our community are very, very lucky that we can all partner together. Like, we have great partnerships with the Red Cross and CAL FIRE, the County of San Diego. And after the devastating fires of 2007, we made a commitment that we were going to put public safety as our #1 priority. And so we built out, as you've seen, our weather stations. We have 190 weather stations across our county. So we have basically like microclimate forecasts for each little area of our county. So we know when the winds are coming, and obviously with the devastation across California, in the last couple of years. It's in all of our interest to work together to really try to manage those situations when we have red flag conditions.
Yeah. So there are a lot of different categories. I mentioned the Community Partner Award for SDGE,
yes.
but there are a number of different categories that I would imagine you get a lot of nominations. So talk about the selection process and going
Sure.
through that.
Sure. So we do have a lot of categories: animal welfare, humanitarian, military, law enforcement, fire and rescue. The Bill Trump Feller Community Leadership Award, a new award this year, the Gift of Life Award, among several others. And I'll tell you, I'm involved in that process. We get many nominations each year, and they all have amazing stories. And so there's a committee of community leaders and Red Cross supporters that are identified. We sit down and spend basically a whole day going through these nominations and trying to pick winners. It's a very tough choice because the stories are really amazing.
I would imagine that's a difficult process.
Yes.
So how can people submit their applications? And I mean, this is something that goes on
Yes.
at what point every year? How long is this selection
So
process?
shortly before the event, several months before the event, there will be opportunities on the American Red Cross website, a link to submit nominations, and we do a lot of outreach as well to find people that have great stories and can submit those. So it's a very straightforward and easy process.
Was there a highlight for either of you with the breakfast this year, a moment that really stood out, a story that stood out for you?
I think the one that was the toughest to hear, because it was under such tragic circumstances, was probably Agent Morales from the FBI that testified, but spoke about his experience in sort of being on the scene and responding to the shooting at the Chabad in Poway, and really shared some heartfelt thoughts in terms of his beliefs and how those impacted his ability to really react immediately and take action and save lives. For me, that was probably the most touching and emotional
moment of the
moment.
morning.
Yeah,
absolutely. For you, Dave?
Well, unfortunately, I missed this year's breakfast. I was in our emergency operations center because we had a red flag condition.
Which is why we were intending to have live shots there, but we had a serious red flag conditions, which obviously speaks to part of the reason why you were getting the community award with SDGE.
Right, and then we have another one coming this weekend. So I'd like to invite or request that all your listeners be prepared. And part of what we do and part of what the Red Cross is always be prepared for 72 hours. And that's the community is becoming more and more prepared every year. So that's really important. But back to my favorite award is probably the Youth Award that we sponsor every year. And when we hear these amazing stories, it's one thing to have an adult do that, but to have a young person, and you think about sort of, the youth are our future, and there are as many heroes in that category as any place else. So that's always my favorite.
Yeah, having them be brave beyond their years is pretty incredible. Well, thank you for all that you do and for honoring some of our unsung heroes and giving them the recognition that's due. Appreciate it.
It's our pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Coming up, we are going to talk to a woman who helped save the life of a man trapped in a burning car. We're going to meet her. She's being honored as this year's Good Samaritan Award winner. Her story when we come back right here on San Diego People. Welcome back to San Diego People. I'm Lauren Finney. We're sitting down this morning with some of the recent recipients of the Red Cross Real Heroes Awards. And joining me right now is the Good Samaritan Award winner, Cheryl Lundgren. Good morning, Cheryl.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's an honor.
It's a pleasure to be with you and to know that you rose to a very stressful, scary situation. Yeah. I'll have you share the story of what happened one night on your way home from work.
On my way home, I was riding on the 52, and a gentleman had gone off the 52 down to the bottom of the canyon. There was a man and a woman waving people
on
down.
The side of the road?
Yeah,
so
nobody was stopping, so I stopped. And the woman stayed at the top and was calling 911, and her husband and I went to the bottom of the canyon to see if we could get the guy out, and he was stuck in his seatbelt.
Seatbelt, right.
Yeah, so I had my cutter in my back pocket from work, and I pulled it out, and we cut him out of the seatbelt, and then he just kind of came forward towards us, and then he was completely unconscious, so we had to pull him all the way up the canyon.
Just incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned the fact that you pulled over and you stopped and most people were driving by. This is about, what, 9 o'clock at night?
Mm-hmm.
As a single woman, you have every right to keep driving and think that could be a dangerous situation for me. I'm not going to pull over. What was it that went off in your brain that said, you know, I think I'm going to pull over for these people and see what's going on?
Well, for me, I follow Jesus, and when he tells me stop, I stop. He said stop, I stopped.
So you stopped, and thank goodness you did. So you're there, and the car is already on fire, right?
Yeah, the very front, the engine was on fire.
I mean, that
and
presents
the car was full of smoke, so it was hot, very hot.
Were you worried about the car blowing up? Were you? I mean, what was going through your mind?
I was, but I couldn't leave a man there to blow up with. I mean, no. Not going to happen.
So this is where we talk about ordinary people having extraordinary courage. I don't call you ordinary at all because it's a wonderful thing that you did. And so how did it come about that the Red Cross got in touch with you to win this award?
I was contacted by them via email, and they said I had been nominated and I had won the Good Samaritan Award. And so I called them. They gave me a phone number to call, and I called them, and I thought it was a fake email.
That somebody was pranking you?
Yeah. So I actually called to find out if it was true, and then I talked to them, and it was true. And I was like, I'm so honored to get this. I mean, this was so amazing.
It is amazing.
I had never heard of the Real Hero Award.
Breakfast,
I had never heard of it, and I think it's such a great thing.
And I asked you how the breakfast was, what it was like for you to be there in attendance, regardless of the fact that you were being awarded. What did it do for your heart to be there and hear some of these incredible stories?
Lots of tissues, so many tears. By the time they called me, my face was like probably so red from crying. It was amazing. It was listening to everybody's stories was incredible. From somebody feeding the homeless, to the young woman, the youth, who was helping people understand other people, policemen running into a burning room. It was amazing. Yeah. There was a lot. I was very honored. I was to be in the same group with those people.
Well, it's really well deserved. And I know that you have not made contact with the man that you saved, but he is doing okay.
He is. I had heard from his sister-in-law about his injuries, and that was about a month after he had been in the wreck, and he had been moved into a lesser intense unit. So he was getting better. I have not contacted them. I know that my name is on the CHP report, so I figure if they want to contact me, they can.
They can. Yeah. And so the people who were on the side of the road with him, obviously they were very grateful that you pulled over, and you happened to have the right tool in your back pocket.
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, it was the first time I'd actually taken my cutter home.
Isn't that funny?
I usually left it in my locker at work. I was just in a hurry, so.
And that's for uncutting boxes.
It's for cutting open boxes. It's a safety cutter. You know, you have to hold it open. Yeah, that was the first time.
Extra miracles, and you just happened to keep it in your pocket, and it was the right tool, the right time. Well, I know that they're grateful that you were driving home at that time, and it's wonderful that you were able to accept the award, be there. Congratulations. Will you be going to other Hero breakfast?
Oh, I definitely will.
Yes.
Attend Hero.
It's a wonderful uplifting moment for sure. Cheryl, thank you so much for sharing your story, and thank you for what you did.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Still ahead on San Diego People, we're going to meet 2 more Red Cross real heroes, including an El Cajon officer who put his own life on the line to save 2 people from a burning apartment building, and a lifeguard who saved a man in cardiac arrest. Their stories when we come back on San Diego People. Welcome back to San Diego People. I'm Lauren Finney. Every year, the American Red Cross honors individuals in San Diego who bravely and courageously serve our community. Joining me this morning are two of the recipients, El Cajon police officer Randall Gray, who won the Law Enforcement Award with his partner, and YMCA lifeguard David Kramer, who won the Fire and Rescue Award. Congratulations, gentlemen, and welcome this morning.
Thank you very
Thanks
much.
for being here. Randall, I'll start with you. You and your partner were very brave during a fire. Can you tell us what happened in that situation?
Yeah, so we responded to a 911 call of an apartment complex that was on fire. Myself and Officer Fernando Martinez arrived on scene first, and when we got there, we could see a downstairs unit that was just completely engulfed in smoke, and smoke coming out of the windows, out of the doors. And the fire department hadn't been able to get on scene yet, so it was just us two. And we knew just from all of our training experience that no matter what people say, we had a neighbor saying that everyone was out of the apartment.
Right.
And we kind of asked, well, how do you know that? And she didn't really give us a concrete answer, so we said, well, we have to go in there and we have to check. So myself and Officer Martinez went in, and through all the smoke, I was able to walk through, and I found a mother and child in the living room on the couch.
And were they were they screaming at all? Had they already passed out from smoke? I mean, what was their...
They were completely unconscious. Like, so when I went in, the smoke was really thick and it was kind of burning our eyes, so we couldn't see a lot, so we had to just do verbal call-outs. And we were just trying to announce ourselves, see if anyone was inside, and we weren't getting any answer. As we went further into the apartment, I was able to see a couch, and then I saw the mom laying on the couch holding her child, and it looked like they were both asleep. So I ran over and I started immediately shaking both of them to see if they could wake up, see if they can get out of the apartment, and neither of them were waking up. So I had to take the child, and Officer Martinez took the mother.
Wow. I mean, somebody tells you there's no one in there, that it's vacant, and you're still waiting on the fire department. I mean, obviously, as a police officer, you're ready for dangerous situations, but probably not a lot of fire training goes into.
No, that's something that a lot of people have asked me throughout this incident is, what kind of training do you have? What kind of experience do you have? And I mean, the truth is none. You just know your job is to protect lives and save people, and so you just do the best you can with what you have, and so that's exactly what we did.
And so the mother and child turned out to be okay. I mean, thanks.
Yes. So
you guys.
As I was carrying the child out and Officer Martinez was carrying the mother out, the fire department was just getting on scene, so we were able to transfer them over to get the medical attention that they needed, and they were able to come to, and they wound up being fine.
Wow. Was there any hesitation? I mean, I know with fight or flight, officers usually have that fight instinct, but was there any hesitation when it came to seeing the flames and deciding to go in?
No, and it's kind of funny also, as I mentioned, a lot of people have spoken to me about this, and the hard part for them to understand, and the truth is, I wasn't really even aware necessarily of the extent of the danger. It was strictly just, you have a job to do. You have to find, or you have to at least check and see if anyone was there. And so that wasn't, the danger wasn't really what was going through my head. It wasn't, was there fire, was there smoke? It was, is there someone inside?
Right. Wow. It's thankful that despite what people were telling you on scene, that you still decided to go in.
Yeah, we always check, and through training and experience, you're always told it's never clear until you physically do it, and we were luckily that we relied on our training and experience.
Absolutely. And David, I understand you won the Fire and Rescue Award for something that took place at the YMCA. Can you kind of share the event with us and how you came to save the day?
Yeah, it was a big day. It was basically as big as it gets as far as training, lifeguard training. But we had a member, Peter Kaufman, who actually suffered a medical emergency in our locker room. He went into cardiac arrest. And myself and a team of lifeguards were the first ones to arrive on scene. And we actually found him in the shower stall in bad shape. It was pretty apparent that he was lifeless at that time. So we followed all our training. It all kicked in. We grabbed our medical equipment. I began chest compressions. While Jason Milosh, our associate executive director, actually grabbed the AED, got it set up, got it turned on. He placed the pads perfectly. We worked together as a team. Another lifeguard, Alec Lisk, who was actually there, was able to suction his airway. There's a lot of fluid in Peter's airway as well. Caitlin's on the phone with 911, Alex is suctioning, and we were all just kind of working together as a team for a few minutes. But we were able to deliver shocks. Shocks were advised on Peter, able to deliver shocks and actually revive him and get a pulse back before medics were on scene.
Peter was in on our Good Morning San Diego show last week talking to our Paul Rudy, and he definitely is a man filled with gratitude for what you've done. And I know he's a member, so have you run into him? Have you had a chance to speak with him following this?
Yeah, he actually still comes into the YMCA and swims. So I'm the aquatics coordinator still. So sometimes I'll get to step out of my office and see Peter walk out in the pool deck and get ready to go swim. But it's definitely built that lasting bond relationship between all of us as a team, as well as Peter. We're so happy to see him walk out on deck every time he comes, and yeah, it's really good to have him.
What emotion goes through you when you see him getting ready to swim another day and work out?
It's just, we are all so thankful that we were able to pull it off that day, and all the training kicked in. It's something that we practice, and I think it speaks to the lifeguards across San Diego County, the YMCA lifeguards, at how hard they train to prepare for these situations. And I just want Peter and everybody else who visits YMCA to feel like they're in good hands anytime they set foot.
Well, this is a great testament to that, for sure. What was the breakfast like for both of you to hear some of the other stories and to be there and to be recognized and honored as a hero?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was fantastic. A lot of things were going through my head and kind of the emotions, and one thing that I kept really feeling and thinking to myself was, you know, everyone's calling you a hero, calling you this, calling you that, and to me, it's my job. I mean, no one made me do this. No one forced me to go into this profession. It's what I wanted to do. And so when I look at it, it's just, that's your duty. That's what you're supposed to do. And I see all these people who didn't necessarily sign up to put themselves in positions that way. You know, the woman who rescued the man that was stuck in the car, the young girl in high school who's doing all of her community service work. That's not something that they are required to do by any means. It's something they're going out of their way to do. And so seeing them, that's more of the honor, if you will, for me, is seeing that people who are not required, not expected to be doing anything, but they go above and beyond.
Yeah. Well, I'd say you're in the right profession, Randall.
Thank you.
And so, David, what was your takeaway from the morning?
I mean, it was such an amazing event. I feel so honored to be a part of it and share the stage and the award with so many people from different walks of life. It was just truly kind of a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and to hear the stories and to have friends and family there celebrating with us. It's such a good thing that is put on. And I was just so thankful and happy to be a part of it. It was really cool.
Both of you, as you alluded to, Randall, both of you have been in this profession where you're kind of given that hero status already. I mean, you have taken on the task of doing exactly what you did in those tough moments. Is there a moment where you kind of have stepped back and reflected, I'm really proud of myself, I did it, I was put up to the challenge and I performed, and this is, I mean, because we're still calling you heroes and recognizing, I mean, this was actually a moment where you're a hero.
Yeah, mostly I'm just glad that I was able to perform the job that I was expected to do. I'm just glad that for whatever reason, you know, I didn't either get too stressed or anything, and that I was able to do what the public expects of me to do.
Well, we're so thankful, and thank you for you both being here this morning. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
That'll do it for this morning's edition of San Diego People. You can join us tonight for the KUSI News at 6, 10, and 11. We'll see you then.